United Church of Christ. We are extremely delighted to have each of you here with us tonight. You are in for a wonderful evening of entertainment. I hope your bellies are full of some wonderful chili. This is one of our favorite events to host in the year. This is also our youth group's largest fundraising event. So thank you for all of you for coming. You will see that on the table there is also baskets on most tables. If you feel so moved to give an additional donation, we will not turn that down. But tonight is not just a fundraiser for us. This time together has become a tradition within our family here at St. Mark's that I believe is very dear to everyone's heart. It is an opportunity for us to fellowship and to enjoy each other's talents and gifts to one another as we give glory to God for all that God has given to us. This event, again, is our fundraiser. We have several events in the summer that this allows our youth to be able to attend. One is Camp Miriam, which is I'm wearing the t-shirt from last summer. And then this July, we are going to be attending, along with thousands of other UCCers from the 6th grade to the 12th, and some of the younger college kids, for the United Church of Christ National Youth Event. It is being held at Purdue University this year. This event is held every 4 years, which began in 1980. So with it being in our backyard, we did not want to wanted to take the opportunity to attend because we're not quite sure it was going to be close to us 4 years from now. So this fundraiser will help send our kids to not only Camp Miriam, but to the National Youth Event as well. So I do want to say some thank yous to everyone who has helped make this possible. First and foremost to Ms. Chef Mays for doing our wonderful chili. As of last year, if there are any leftovers, we will be bagging them up in freezer bags for anyone that would like to take any home with an additional donation, whatever you would like to give. If we have some, we'll know closer towards the end of the show if we do. Also, thank you to everyone who signed up to bless us with your talents. We originally was thinking that we were going to have only 8 acts, but we have 17. So thank you to everyone who was brave enough to come up on the stage. We could not make this possible without you. Also, Mr. Mike Wright for allowing his presence tonight, for taking care of the sound system and putting together the program that you were given. Thank you, Mike, for that. For Emily, for all the help that she has given each year to our youth and being the artistic person and making it all happen on stage for us when we get to our skits. I could not have done this without Emily, so thank you. To my youth who has worked hard to prepare for this, who is working in the kitchen. They're a great bunch of kids. In fact, I would like to actually share what one of them had said to me last week when pertaining to this fundraiser. They were somewhat concerned about us asking for a fundraiser when they knew that we were working in the middle of a capital campaign. I thought that was extremely insightful for one of our youth to be concerned. But as I shared with them, this congregation has always supported the youth and are aware of the importance that the youth gives to our church and to our wider church, and that we would be providing a wonderful meal and they would have to give. So they were concerned though it would take away from the capital campaign. That's what type of kids we have here at St. Mark's. Also, our MC for the night will be our pastor, John Manzo, who will grace us with, I'm sure, his wisdom and his humor. So I will turn everything over to him. Where is John? Right here. Oh, there he is. And enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Ken. There was a real option this year of a conversation of what to do as a fundraiser. Ken was debating between doing this or selling his own brand of hair care products. And I really suggested he might want to go with this. Did you ever wonder, you read the Bible and you read the story of Adam and Eve, and somebody once asked did Adam and Eve ever have a date? And I said, no, they had nothing. And because so many people get apples, think about apples on Christmas. The first thing we're going to do is the 12 days of Christmas. So I will let celebration and their fearless leaders do their thing. skateboards, I was afraid somebody was going to fly off the stage. Or pass out. Let's give them another round of applause. That was almost better than my jokes. Our next act, Cameron and Molly Howard singing a sing song, and then Cameron, Molly, Lila, and Maggie Howard singing Y'all Come, and then Cameron, Molly,
this duet for you this evening.
You know, every once in a while you run across a real gem. We all think a genius wrote this song, and we heard him a few years ago, probably 20 years ago, on Prairie Home Companion. Lou and Peter Berrigan, as a matter of fact.
Sometimes the grass is blown by the breeze. There's a faraway look in the leaves on the trees. A memory returns, heartbreakingly clear, of a place I call home.
Your state's name here.
No sky could be deeper, no river so clear, as back in the meadows of
Your state's name here.
Gonna go back, although I don't know when. There's no other place like
Your state's name again.
oh,
Your state's name here.
oh,
Again.
what a state. I have not been back since,
A reasonable date.
where the asphalt grows soft in July every year, on the warm summer mornings of
Your state's name here.
my grandpa would come and turn on the game and fall asleep drinking.
Your local beer's name.
Grandma would sing in the garden for hours to all of
The names of indigenous flowers.
oh, the songs that she sang were somewhat obscure. She learned from the local townspeople, I'm sure. The language they use is not very clear, like
Place of colloquialism right here. Your state's name here.
oh,
Again.
what a state. I have not been back since,
A reasonable date.
where the asphalt grows soft in July every year, in the warm summer mornings of
Your state's name here.
oh, I'd love to wake up where
The state songbird.
things, where they manufacture
The names of some things.
there on a bumper, a sticker so clear, and I and a heart, and then
Your state's name here.
oh,
Your state's name here.
oh,
Again.
what a state. I have not been back since,
A reasonable date.
where the asphalt grows soft in July every year, in the warm summer mornings of
Your state's name here.
whisper, it's soft, it's a song to my ear.
Your state's name here. Your state's name here.
It's there I was born, and it's there I'll grow old, by the rivers of blue and the arches of gold. Oh,
Name here.
oh,
Again.
what a state. I have not been back since,
A reasonable date.
where the asphalt grows soft in July every year,
Everybody.
in the warm summer evenings of
Your state's name here.
in the warm summer evenings of
Your state's name here.
Very good. The next joke is, insert joke here. Hearing about that, I was thinking of having a moment of nostalgia about my grandmother. My grandmother was Sicilian, and Sicilian grandmothers have an interesting approach to life and the universe. My grandmother loved to gamble. She would gamble and place a bet on absolutely anything. My cousin and I were watching the World Series one year, and she came in and told us to let me know if somebody scores a touchdown in the 7th inning, I've got money up. Grandma wasn't always the best bettor in the world, but she was consistent. She loved bingo and loved playing cards. Came into trouble a little bit because when I was going to go to kindergarten, my mother was talking to my grandmother, and my grandmother volunteered to teach me to count. So I learned to count, and I went to school on the 2nd day of kindergarten. It was really great because the teacher was asking how many of us could count. And she got to asking kids, and she was having a hard time. And she said, does everybody know what comes after 5? 6. She goes, excellent. Do you know what comes after 8? 9. Do you know what the 4 numbers that come after 10 are? I said, yes, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. Kramer is going to play the bagpipes with the great Highlands bagpipes. When I was dating Janet, I asked her to a dance, and she agreed, and I rented a nice suit. And the rental had a really long line, so I waited and waited and got my suit. I decided to buy her flowers, and I went to the flower shop. And the flower shop had a really long line, so I waited and waited, and I finally bought her flowers. I went to pick her up for the dance, and there was a really long line going into the dance, but we waited and waited. I get into the dance. Then I asked Janet if I could get her a punch, a drink. And she asked me for a punch, and I went to the drink table. And here's where the problem is, there is no punch line. Going to sing I Love You in tribute to that great story. Carolyn, I just wanted you to know, if you need a new pair of jeans, you're welcome to come to the post
It's not true. Tell me I've been lied to. Crying isn't like you. What the heck did I do? Never been the type to let someone see right through. If we fall apart as it gets stuck, I'm in your arms in Central Park. There's nothing you can do or say. I can't escape the way I love you. I love you, and I don't want to. Up all night on another red eye. Didn't think that we'd fight. Oh, maybe won't take you back. Say you would try to make me laugh. And nothing nice to change today. Didn't mean to say I love you. I love you, and I don't want to. The smile that you gave me, even when you felt like dying. We fall apart as you get stuck. I'm in your arms in Central Park. There's nothing you could do or say. I can't escape the way I love you. I love you, and I don't want to.
custodian, Joe. Joe Earls is like the greatest person you'd ever want to know. He is kind, he is just a really good guy. Agreed? One of the things I learned about Joe is Joe knows everybody. And during the health fair, I keep finding he's bringing people in and introducing them to me, all the people around town. And I finally said to him once, Joe, who do you know? He goes, I pretty much know everybody. I said, I bet you don't know the governor. He said, oh, we're all friends. So we drove up to Indianapolis and went to the governor's office, and they announced Joe Earls was there, and the governor took us out to lunch. I was like, wow. I said, Joe, I bet you don't know the president. And he said, oh yeah, Donald and I are good friends for years, because I used to work for him. And so we got invited to a party in Mar-a-Lago. And I saw the president walk in. He walked into the party like he was walking into a yacht. His hair was strategically placed below an eye. And his cheeks, they were apricot. And next to him was Joe. Arm in arm, best buddies. I'm like, wow. I said, Joe, I bet you don't know the Pope. And he goes, oh yeah, I used to live down in Argentina. The Pope and I are old buddies. So we went to Rome. And Joe said, you can't go upstairs, but we'll give you a spot right down below in the audience right there, and so you can see us together. And sure enough, Joe came out with the Pope, all friends. I passed out cold. Joe came up to me and he said, I really thought you would have believed me when I said I knew the Pope. And I said, Joe, that wasn't what caused me to pass out. I said, I figured at that time you probably didn't know the Pope. It was the guy next to me asked me who the guy in the funny white dress was standing next to Joe Earls. The Rainbow Connection.
What do we think we might see?
Our next act is going to be The Longest Time by Mandy Elkins Hutchins and Ezra and Elmer Hutchins.
No jokes? No jokes? I got my roadies.
Okay. Did you know that if you interrupt someone who is intently working on a puzzle, chances are you'll hear some crosswords? You never know why you always tell actors to break a leg. Every production has a cast. Now, what do you get when you combine an insomniac, an agnostic, and a dyslexic? Someone who lays awake at night wondering about the true meaning of dog. This is Mandy's fault. I wasn't going to tell you.
So you're probably not going to be, do you have any jokes, Ezra? Huh? Do you have any jokes? Well, oh no, wait, you said well. It probably isn't going to be as good as... Hey. All right, let's see. Make sure I'm not blowing everybody up. You hear that okay? Yes. We good? Excellent. It took the longest time to prepare. The longest time? Yeah, we're saying the longest time. It takes the longest time to prepare. That's a good joke.
really loved his job, and he had been working as an engineer and a conductor on a train ever since he had been a child. And he loved for the train to go really, really fast. And one day he was really reckless and he wrecked the train. And it was horrible, and several people were killed in the accident. He went to court over the incident. He was found guilty and he was sentenced to death by the electric chair. When the day of the execution came, he requested for his last meal a single banana. After he ate the banana, he was strapped to the electric chair. The switch was thrown, sparks flew, and smoke filled the air. But nothing happened. The man was fine. This was in Bulgaria, and at the time there was a law that if the execution failed, it was because of divine intervention, so he was allowed to go free. He even went back to his old job. They gave him his old job back. And I figured, by now he has learned his lesson. But he didn't. Same thing happened, and this time the accident was worse and more people were killed. Trial came, he was found guilty, and again sentenced to death by the execution of the electric chair. For his final meal, he requested 2 bananas. He ate the 2 bananas, and again, he went to the electric chair. The switch was thrown, sparks flew, smoke filled the air, and he was fine. So they let him go. And people in that area weren't too bright. He got his old job back, and he wasn't too bright. And once again, he killed a number of people. And once again, he was sentenced to death. And on the day of his execution, he requested 3 bananas. And the executioner said, "No, no bananas for you. I've had it with you and your stupid bananas, and you leaving here unharmed. I'm not giving you a single thing to eat." So he put the guy in the chair, threw the switch, ice burned out, sparks flew, smoke filled the air. The man was just fine. The executioner was speechless. And the man looked at the executioner and said, "You know, the bananas had nothing to do with it. I'm just a bad conductor." Which brings me to Mary Kay Kramer and the Hood.
While riding in my Cadillac, what to my surprise, a little Nash Rambler was following me about 1/3 my size. The guy must have wanted to pass me up as he kept on tooting his horn. I'll show him that a Cadillac is not a car to scorn. Beep, beep, beep.
Our next act is going to be Mary doing the hula hoop while playing the bagpipes. And Emily and Ken are going to act it out. And Carl's going to eat the hot dog. Actually, our next act is going to be the Cherubim Youth Choir. Is that all? It's all a story.
We'll do this quick.
The Pope was with his driver, and they were on his way to the airport, and he said, you know, I've never driven the car since I've been Pope. Can I drive the car? And the chauffeur said, sure, where should I sit? And the Pope said, sit in the back. So the Pope got in the car and he was driving, and it had been years since he had driven, and it was a bit rusty. And suddenly he gets pulled over by the police. And the policeman comes out and sees the Pope drive the car, and he says, wait a minute. And he goes back to radio police station. He said, Chief, we have a situation. I pulled over a limousine, and I think there's a really important figure in the back. And he said, how important? He said, is it the governor? No, I think it's somebody even more important than the governor. President? I think it's somebody more important than the president. Is it a celebrity or something? No, I think it's way more important. And he said, well, who is it that is so important? He said, sir, I'm not sure, but the Pope is his driver. Are you ready yet? Okay. You guys want to see me or tell more jokes? They want to tell more jokes.
We have 3 solos that are in the program. Their names are in there, but we also have 4 solo instrumentalists. We have we have 3 vocal soloists in the program this evening, and their names are printed in the program. But we have 4 instrumentalists whose names are not in the program, and I do need to mention them. We have Alice Bonavaggio on what we are calling the ukulele. We have Emmeline Fricky on a rain stick. Her little tiny sister Eleanor Fricky is on a boom chick. And last but definitely not least, Michaela Fricky is playing, well, we don't know what to call it. So we will announce the name of that instrument within the year.
In this world we live in,
serious stuff for a moment. Tomorrow's a significant day of worship for a couple of reasons. First of all, those of you who have been part of St. Mark's know you were in this building and in this room for 7 months as the work was done in our sanctuary. And we've been working on a capital campaign. And tomorrow is the last day. And it's when we make our promises before God and one another. So I really encourage everybody to come to worship tomorrow for that. Additionally, there's been a sermon series on great love. So tomorrow is the sermon on great love of children. So if you have children, it's a really significant day to come to church as well. Also, I want you to be aware, the youth group, and a lot of this is going on the shoulders of Ken and Emily. They are taking our kids to St. Peter's United Church of Christ for worship tomorrow. That's an African-American congregation. And our confirmation kids and youth are going to be going there, experiencing a different experience of worship. So tomorrow is a really significant day in the life of the church. And I hope that people are here and pray for the people who are going to St. Peter's. And Carter Wright is going to be doing a bass solo on the song Impertinence by Campbell. car. And just a good amount of damage on the car, and he got out. And the other guy got out of the car and was really shaken because this is terrible. This car is only 3 weeks old. And the elderly minister took a flask out of his back pocket. He said, "Son, take a drink of Irish whiskey. It'll make you feel better." So we did. And the guy said, "I don't know, my wife is going to be really upset when she finds out I wrecked the car." And the old minister said, "Take another shot of the Irish whiskey. She won't see it as bad as it is." And then the guy said, "I don't know." He goes, "I don't know if I have the right amount of insurance on the car." And the minister said, "Son, take another shot of the whiskey, and you'll feel better." And this went on for a while. Finally, the police came, and the police officer said, "What happened?" And the minister said, "I don't know, but this man's been drinking." On that note, I'll let the punchline settle for a while. Meanwhile, the streets of Laredo with Bree Reggie and Carol Flismark.
At least that's an easy act to follow.
So the Americans would wait in the trench and go, Hans! And one of the Germans would stand up, what? And shoot him. And this was going on, and all the Americans were doing this, and the Germans figured out, this is bad, we got to figure out how to respond to this. So they said, what's a common American name? And they said, well, John. So the next day, one of the German soldiers yelled out, John! And the American soldier said, is that you, Hans? That's how the Americans won the First World War. Our next act, if I can find the page, is Hans. Now, it's actually Spencer Johnson singing Stars from Les Miserables in memory of Debbie King Rocky, who recently lost her life to cancer.
Out in the darkness, a fugitive running, fallen from God, fallen from grace. God be my witness, I never shall yield, till we come face to face, till we come face to face. He knows his way in the dark, mine is the way of the Lord, and those who follow the path of the righteous shall have their reward. And if they fall as Lucifer fell, the flame, the sword, stars in your multitudes, scarce to be counted, darkness with order and a light. You are the sentinels, silent and sure, keeping watch in the night, keeping watch in the night. You know your place in the skies, you hold your course in your aim, and each in your season returns and returns, and is always the same. And if you fall as Lucifer fell, you fall in flame. And so it has been, and so it is written on the doorways to paradise, that those who falter and those who fall must pay the price.
With life in a northern town.
Dream of the day that this is taller. That means
means I'd be tall. It's always on the short side. Salvation Army band played while the children drank lemonade. Morning musket on the heath. Oh, through an open window came, like Sinatra in a younger day, pushing the town away. Oh. Watch the water roll down the drain, follow it down to the station. And he would never wave goodbye. You could see it in his eyes. Follow slow by.
Grandfather who lived way out in the country. On the first morning of the visit, John's grandfather prepared a breakfast of bacon and eggs. And John noticed a film-like substance on the plate. And he said, "Grandpa, are these plates clean?" His grandfather said, "Yes, they're as clean as cold water can get them. Just go ahead and finish your meal." For lunch, they had hamburgers. And again, John was concerned about the plates because they appeared to have pieces of dried And I saw the grandfather said, I told you they're as clean as cold water can get them. Later, as John was leaving, his grandfather's dog began to growl and wouldn't let him pass. The grandfather, and he said, Grandpa, your dog won't let me go by. And Grandpa yelled at the dog, cold water, go lie down. I wanted to give you that image. Old Dan Tucker is going to be performed by Xander Essex. A nurse comes out and says to the first guy, "Congratulations, you're the father of twins." And he said, "Wow, that's amazing. I work for the Minnesota Twins." After a while, the nurse comes out again and says to a second guy, "Sir, congratulations, you're the father of triplets." And he said, "Oh, that's amazing. I work for the 3M Corporation." After a while, the nurse comes out and says to a third man, "Congratulations, you are the father of quadruplets." And the guy said, "That's amazing. I work for the Four Seasons Hotel." And a man finally goes, "No, no, no." And the nurse said, "What's wrong, sir?" He goes, "I work for 7-Up." French fries. This is great. I really should eat fat-free French fries. And I saw the cook take them out of the oil in the fryer, and the potatoes were dripping with oil when I got them on my plate. I said, wait, these don't look fat-free to me. And the server said, oh, they're fat-free. We only charge for the potatoes. The fat is free. And a snail went to buy a sports car. And he picked out a fast, expensive sports car. Even more surprising was the snail said, I want a big red S painted on both sides. And the salesman said, why would you want such a thing? And the snail said, I want people to say, look at that S-car go. You're probably wondering what else is brewing. Well, it's brewing in St. Mark's teacups.
Come back with us now to the fabulous 50s, the times of bobby socks and blue jeans, the stroll and the jive and the jitterbug, Elvis and Connie Francis, with groups like the Coasters, the Platters, and the St. Mark's Teacups.
Close your eye, baby. Follow my heart. Call on the memories here in the dark. Back to the
is actually very serious, but I'd like to do some thank yous. First, how many people enjoyed the chili? Hey girl, if you're around, we would like to thank you for making the chili. And a special thank you has to go to Ken and Emily, because they're the ones who organized this whole event and got access. Going back to the chili, there are actually 5 packages of chili in the back. If you would like to take some home, you're invited to make a donation, just put it in one of the baskets there, and that will be fine. If you'd really like to make a good donation, the choice is I can stay here another hour and tell jokes, or you can leave a donation. Stop. Donation time, right? Okay. I would really like to thank the kids. They were really extraordinary group of kids. They are bonded, they are fun, they are smart, they're really energetic. Nothing seems to be too difficult for them. So I'd like us to really recognize the kids. Mike Wright has done the sound system all night. Thank you, Mike. And thank you to all the performers. You all did a wonderful job. And Sandy and Sarah both did a lot of accompanying tonight. And last but not least, I would like to thank everybody who came. I hope you had a good time and have safe travels going home.
John?
Yes.
Betty Bartell.
Oh, and Betty Bartell plays the piano. Thank you. Thank you so much. It is not a dinner event without Betty Bartell playing dinner music. The Genesis Youth Group is going to do a final presentation on the life of Jesus.
He is our Lord, He is our Savior, He is our rescuer.
You are not hidden. There's never been a moment you were forgotten. You are not hopeless. Though you have been broken, your innocence stolen. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkness. Night is true, I will rescue you. There is no distance cannot be covered over and over. You're not defenseless. I'll be your shelter, I'll be your armor. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. hear you whisper you have nothing left. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the hard fight. It's true, I will rescue you. Oh, I will rescue you.
Give it a little. That concludes our annual chili supper and talent show. Again, thank you so much for coming. There are 5 bags of chili left, as Pastor John has shared, so the highest bidder. So, youth group, please stay around. We've got cleanup to do. Everyone, again, thank you so much for coming out and supporting our youth. Be safe going home. Thank you.